My abusive ex-husband refuses to let my young daughter be at my wedding because he's angry that I found someone better than him. Please help. My ex-husband and I were married for 10 years, and in that time we had 2 daughters, Emily and Gabby. It's been 6 years since we divorced because he cheated on me with a freshman in college and left me for her. It was a very hard time for me, especially because he did not make the divorce process easy. He would always comment on my body, saying I was ugly and that's why he left me. He said he hated being with me and doesn't like that I was not as tight as I used to be. I was in so much emotional pain. I had spent so much time on our relationship only to get cheated on and be emotionally manipulated. Emily knew why we divorced and she held some resentment towards her father for that. She comforted me a lot during that time, and I hated that I wasn't strong enough to support her since she was only 16. Gabby was only 8, so she was too young to understand what was actually happening. Even though he was a horrible husband, he was a good father to both of them and tried his best to rebuild his relationship with Emily, though it never worked out. He fought me for full custody in the divorce, but ultimately we ended with shared custody. The girls would be with me from Friday to Monday. I tried my best, but I would spiral from time to time since I was always seeing his partner whenever I picked the girls up. I was afraid that Gabby would start to see her as her mom, so I've done my best in therapy to move past this situation. But then the day of our wedding anniversary came. I tried my best to keep it together during work, but during my lunch break I went up to the roof and bawled my eyes out. That's how I met my husband Ben. He was there while I was crying and asked me what happened. Not only was it my wedding anniversary, it was also the day my ex decided to marry his affair partner. Ben listened to my concerns and stayed with me the whole day to make sure I was fine. He even dropped me to my house because I was too emotionally unstable to drive myself. Our relationship quickly developed from then on, and we bonded over our trauma. He told me his story about how he lost his wife and only daughter 10 years ago in a car accident. We went on many dates because I started to really like him, and he was an amazing person. He was nothing like my ex, and that was all I wanted. He was caring and mindful of my feelings. He was also really fond of my daughters. Emily started to call him Dad after a year of us dating. Ben hugged her and practically cried the first time it happened. He said it was so long since a daughter had called him Dad. It was such a healthy relationship for both of them, since Emily has said she lost her father the moment he cheated on me. Gabby also calls him Daddy Ben, and he tells me his heart melts every time. I was finally healing and getting back to my old self thanks to Ben. He was more helpful than any therapist I had ever been to, and he genuinely loved me. I wanted to have a baby with Ben, and we had a son 1 year ago. My daughters love him but are a bit jealous they have to share Ben with another person. Ben reassures them that there's plenty of him to go around, so they shouldn't worry. He always makes time to spend time with all of us. He takes me on dates, cares for the baby a lot, takes Emily shopping, and they have gotten their nails done together, which Emily loved, and he plays whatever games Gabby wants, no matter how girly. I can't begin to tell you how many times I've walked in on them wearing matching crowns, playing dress up, and having a tea party. Ben proposed to me when I was pregnant, and we have been planning our wedding since then. Of course we want our girls to be in the wedding as much as possible, so Emily is one of my bridesmaids and Gabby is my flower girl. The problem is that Gabby is still going back and forth from my house to my ex's house. My wedding is in 2 weeks, and my ex was fine with it at first, but now he's refusing to bring my daughter to my mom's place to get ready for the wedding. I spoke to him many times about it, but he says that he only gets to see his daughter 3 times a week and he is not willing to give up his days for some party. Thing is, his wedding was on one of my days, but I still let my girls go because I knew how important it was to him that they attend. He really does care for them. I tried to compromise with him by letting him take my days for a week so that she could be at the wedding. He did not accept and refused to let Gabby go. The wedding is on Tuesday, which is his day, and I can't change the date because everything is booked. We argued a lot, and interacting with him so much worries me because I don't want old wounds to open up. I don't think I can go through any emotional pain with him again. He's being really petty because he knows how excited Gabby is to be my flower girl and how heartbroken she will be if he doesn't let her go. This Friday, I went to pick up Gabby from her father's place, and Emily was pissed. When I asked what happened, she said that Gabby was throwing a tantrum because of some stupid lie their father told her. Apparently, he was going to be taking them on a vacation on my wedding day. Gabby immediately threw a tantrum because she wanted to be my flower girl. I was furious that this cowardly man wanted to take my daughter away from me just so that she wouldn't be able to be a vital part of my wedding. This is beyond petty, this is selfish. I stomped my way into his house and demanded to see my daughter, and Ben came with me for extra support. I called my ex a coward for not telling my daughter the real reason why she can't be at my wedding. I told him to tell Gabby the truth or else I was going to tell her. I was surprised he caved so quickly and told Gabby that there was no vacation, he just didn't want her at my wedding. Gabby cried and said that she hates him. She ran to Ben and hugged him as she cried. My ex was not having it. He yanked her away from Ben, violently shook her body, and called her a brat who doesn't appreciate her dad. I don't know what came over me, but I saw red and slapped him for talking to my daughter that way. He called me a bitch and was going to slap me back, but my fiancé grabbed his hand and pushed him away. I managed to grab Gabby again and we were about to leave, but my ex was yelling that he wasn't going to let her go. I reminded him that this is my turn to have her and he agreed that he would let my daughter stay with me until the wedding is over. I have the messages to prove it. He couldn't do anything anymore, so we left. When we got home, Emily asked if it was possible to keep Gabby with us forever because she does not want to live with her dad. I asked why. Then she told me what was really happening behind closed doors and my ex didn't care for them as much as I thought he did. Her dad has been really angry ever since I started dating Ben. It wasn't extreme at first, so Emily didn't think it was worth mentioning, but then he started insulting me to the girls. He would say that I downgraded by dating Ben and he would never be able to replace him as a father because the girls are not even related to Ben. It got even worse when he learned I was pregnant. He was mad that my life was getting better day by day, so he started asking his wife for their own kids. She refused every single time and it resulted in many fights. It got even worse when Gabby slipped up and called Ben Daddy Ben and my ex heard. From then on, he started lashing out at her for every small mistake she made. He even forced both of them to call his wife Mom. Emily refused, but Gabby was too scared to say no because she had been receiving all of the backlash from him and was scared that he would yell at her for not doing so. Emily doesn't have to go to her dad's house, but she said she goes either way because she has to protect Gabby from him. I was so sad that my girls were being put through this and I had no idea. I asked Emily why she didn't tell me and she responded by saying that she saw how happy I was with Ben, so she didn't want to burden me with anything revolving around my ex. She saw how I crumbled completely when we got divorced and didn't want to ruin that. I never wanted her to take the burden of it all though. While I am happy that she tried to protect her sister, I feel disappointed in myself that I was so busy with my new life that I neglected my daughter. Whenever they came home, they were smiling, so I took that as a sign that everything was okay. I told Emily that while I am proud of her for protecting Gabby, she should have told me because I am their mother and I will protect them from everything. I was going to let Gabby stay with my ex while I was on my honeymoon since he was crying about not being able to be with her on his days, but now I am rethinking that decision.